Nowadays, if you go to an NFL game and there's a play under review, you get to go under the hood with the referee. Of course, I don't mean that you're literally standing side by side with the referee breathing down his neck, but you get to see exactly what the referee sees and what New York sees. Nowadays, if you attend a game and there's a questionable call and the challenge flag comes out or a booth review is initiated, you see the exact angles and the exact speed that the call is being made at. You don't know what the call is going to be, but you'll see the angles and you'll make a judgment call for yourself. However, this was not always a thing. For years, while the referee would be able to have the ability to get whatever angles he wanted, the fans in the stadium would be left to the mercy of the scoreboard and video board operator. And of course, the video board operator, as a member of the team, is going to want one thing and one thing only: to show whichever angles favor their team the most. It's the same reason you don't see the scoreboard operator put up a touchdown graphic when the visiting team scores, or put up a defense sign when the home team is on offense. Why show any call that could go against your team? Why allow the referee a chance to see an angle that they might not have otherwise taken a closer look at? This seems like a pretty obvious concept. If there's an angle that makes you look unflattering and you don't have to show it and are under no obligation to show it, then don't show it. It's just like going to court as a lawyer. You're not going to present evidence that puts your client in a bad light. You represent your client, you have a duty to uphold to present your client in the best manner possible and give him a fair trial. And you're not going to do anything that would put your client in danger of losing the case. If it's a murder case and representing the guy tried for murder, it's probably not a good idea, if the defense hadn't done it already, to admit into evidence the knife that was used in the killing when that knife has the DNA of the client all over it. If it's a murder case and representing the guy tried for murder, it's probably not a good idea, if the defense hadn't done it already, to admit into evidence the security footage that clearly shows that your client was responsible. It's just common sense. And I bring that up because apparently the Oakland Raiders had no idea about this. Because during this game right here, as in a 2005 game between the Oakland Raiders and the Cleveland Browns, apparently the Raider players didn't realize that the Raider video board operator was going to give them the best angles possible, leading Raider players to cry foul, and also leading to Raider players complaining about one of the most obvious reversals of all time. It's a story so asinine in terms of how dumb everyone involved was that it deserves a deep dive all these years later. In 2003, head coach Bill Callahan called his Raiders the dumbest team in America, but he was off by 2 years, because this is the story behind the true dumbest team in America. Make sure you hit that like button down below, subscribe, hype up that video, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a single video that we post on the channel, because we post every single day on here about the weird and the wacky history of the NFL with stories like this one that you probably never heard of before. So if you like that sort of stuff, then this is definitely the place for you. Thanks in advance for liking and subscribing, and for hyping up the video, and for joining this community. And with that in mind, let's talk about the time when the Oakland Raiders were the Oakland Whiners. Before I break down the incident in question and talk about just how absurd this entire situation was, we need some context to understand the importance of the game in hand, as well as how the game itself was going. It's December 18th, 2005. It's week 15 of the NFL season. And as we're winding down and heading into the holidays, we've got an AFC battle on our hands in Oakland between the Cleveland Browns and the Oakland Raiders. There were a lot of big games that week across the league, such as a battle between the San Diego Chargers fighting for a playoff spot and the undefeated Indianapolis Colts, an NFC East rivalry between Dallas and Washington, with both teams sitting above 500, fighting for their playoff lives, and the Steelers and Vikings squaring off in a battle between two 8-5 teams desperately trying to get a wild card in their respective conference. This was not one of those games. In fact, if you watch this game and are not a fan of either the Browns or the Raiders, I question your sanity. This was a battle between two teams with absolutely nothing to play for, with the Raiders and Browns both sitting at the bottom of their respective divisions with a 4-9 record, having been mathematically eliminated from playoff contention. The Raiders had lost 3 straight games and 5 of their last 6, while the Browns had lost 3 straight games and 7 of their last 9. This is all to say that both of these teams absolutely stunk, and I'm assuming both Raiders and Browns fans were just praying that the season could end already so they wouldn't have to watch these teams play anymore. And what we got was a game that definitely felt like a battle between 2 really bad teams. If you like low-scoring games where each team turns the ball over, one team averages under 3 yards to carry on 26 rushing attempts, and the other team as a quarterback complete less than 50% of their passes, then this was the game for you. Because this game, which featured a combined 2 missed field goals and 11 punts, was a game where the Raiders were winning with 3 minutes left after Sebastian Janikowski's field goal to put the Raiders up by 4 got blocked. Now, it was Cleveland's chance to drive down the field. And despite Charlie Frye not doing much of anything on the day, as he had just 166 yards passing prior to the drive, although that was still somehow better than Kerry Collins and his 132 yards for the Raiders, he stepped up on this drive, completing 4 passes and getting the Browns into plus territory. And after a completion for 12 yards to get the Browns inside the 30, making it a field goal inside of 50 yards, the objective for the Browns was simple: get a bit closer and win it on a field goal. Run the ball, kill the clock, and have Phil Dawson, one of the best kickers in football, and one of the only bright spots for the Browns all season, as he hit on over 93% of his field goals, giving him the 2nd best percentage in the league, only behind Neil Rackers of the Arizona Cardinals, walk it off. And that's when the Raiders were about to get the lifeline of all lifelines. Because on 2nd down, when the Browns gave the ball to their 1,000-yard rusher, this happened.
The rookie Charlie Frye in the shotgun. Conservative play now. They go to the run. And a very little gain. They needed only 2, and now was there a turnover?
But that's
Raiders
what the Raiders
got the ball. Raiders signaling they had the ball. Let's see what the official says. Was he down by contact? There's been no official signal. Raiders are in celebration. Now the officials are huddling, trying to keep the players off. Has been no change of possession signal.
The ruling on the play is a fumble recovered by Oakland.
It is indeed a fumble.
That's a fumble. The Raiders have the ball. The Raiders just won the game. They can just take a knee and run out the clock and snap their losing streak and head into the holidays on a high note. And when the video board at the Coliseum showed the replay of the fumble, it looked like there wasn't going to be much of anything to overturn the call. Inside 2 minutes, everything could be reviewed by the booth. And of course, with a call this big, they were going to take a look at it. And during the review, the Coliseum showed just one angle and one angle only. Of course, the referee could see multiple views and multiple vantage points. But inside the stadium, they were only showing one replay over and over again, which made it seem like there wasn't enough to overturn the call. So imagine the surprise of the Raiders when Mike Carey came out from under the hood and announced this to the crowd.
Mike Carey.
Reviewing the play, the runner had complete control with his knee down before it came out. We have a reversal. It'll be 3rd down on the 19-yard line.
The fumble never happened. The Browns retained possession. The Raiders seemingly had a lifeline, and it was snatched away from them. Unsurprisingly, Phil Dawson was sent onto the field later and hit the chip shot by his standards field goal from 37 yards out to win the game and give the Browns, not the Raiders, their 5th win of the season. And after the game, to say that the Raiders were livid about this would be putting it lightly. Because in their minds, the league was rigged against them. The fix was in. The refs were blind. They saw what happened on the video board, the replay you're watching over and over again. They don't know how on earth Mike Carey came to the opposite conclusion. Linebacker Danny Clark said on the call, "My whole thought process was they ruled it a fumble. It'll be really hard to overturn, especially from the views I saw." Keep in mind that the view he saw was singular, seeing as Jared Cooper said the replay only showed one view, and that was the back view. But the comments are about to get a whole lot more harsh and a whole lot more, well, not rooted in reality whatsoever. Defenseman Bobby Hamilton said, quite bluntly, the ball was in the air. I ripped it out. It was already out. I was excited. It was like, they can't reverse this decision. I was thinking, we got it. We finally got it. Safety Stuart Schweigert said, I could see it if they initially called it no fumble, and we challenged it, and then saying it wasn't a fumble. But for them to call fumble, give us the ball back, then for them to have enough evidence upstairs to overturn it, I think that's a bunch of junk. Of course, he didn't say junk, but you can fill in your own word that was too dirty and profane to print. And one Raider even went a step further and said the call went against the Raiders because we're the Raiders. That's pretty much how it goes. As if the referees in the league would conspire against Oakland to help out the freaking Cleveland Browns. As in, the same team that moved and the same team that had Ballgate go against them. Conspiring against the Raiders in a battle of two teams mathematically eliminated from the playoffs to help out the Browns. I've heard it all. And the reason that all of the Raider players were saying this, they were saying it because they thought that the overturn was complete BS, because their video board operator and scoreboard operator showed the flattering angle. They were criticizing the refs left, right, and center for making this call, saying that there wasn't enough to overturn it, and saying that the fix was in, and that they got screwed over, and they were making every excuse in the book as to why they lost this game, because they saw that one angle over and over again. So I'd like to show you another angle, as in the angle that Mike Carey saw and everyone else at home saw that no one in the stadium saw, and the angle that makes the Raiders truly look like the dumbest team in America. Take a look at this.
The other angle shows clearly that after he's down, that ball does not come out till well after. See it scored out right there.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but the runner is very clearly down here. In fact, someone called Jay Sean, because the runner is down, 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 down. His knee is down. His ankle is down. His elbow is down. I'm not sure how many more body parts he has, but 90% of them are down. To say the ball was punched out well after the play would be an understatement. There's close calls where it's truly bang bang, and then there's whatever the heck this was. And for the Raiders to cry foul over this and say the call went against them because the league was conspiring against them to help out Cleveland, and to say there wasn't enough evidence to overturn the call is just asinine to me. It's like the Raiders had no concept that they wouldn't show any unflattering angles on their own video board, because if they did, this call would have taken all of 2 seconds to overturn, and everyone would have known right away that this was not a fumble. No one's going to present evidence that damages their case, and that means that you shouldn't take everything that people say as gospel. And for the Raiders to think that, and also think that there was only one angle available in the year of our Lord 2005, is something else. Today, something like this cannot happen. At the very least, I hope it doesn't happen, seeing as fans inside the stadium and the players inside the stadium can see the exact same replays that the referee is looking at and that New York is looking at. But this game between the Raiders and the Browns from 2005 is a lesson in critical thinking. If someone keeps showing you the same thing over and over again to prove their case, ask yourself why they aren't showing you literally anything else to prove it too, especially if that other thing clearly exists. Clearly, the Raiders lacked all critical thinking skills here, and based on their on-the-field play and their off-the-field comments, it's no surprise as to why they finished the season with an abysmal 4-12 record, with a 6-game losing streak, and finished as one of the worst teams in football. Because on this day in 2005, just win baby turned into just wine baby. Check out our live streaming schedule for the next few days. We're live every single day on this channel, whether we're covering a sporting event or playing GeoGuessr or just taking your requests. So make sure you like and subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a single time that we go live and so that you can join this community. Also, thanks to all our members and our Patreon supporters who get exclusive perks like their name of the end of each video, members-only Q&A streams, and cool emojis to use on videos and during streams. See how you can join this community and become a member or a Patreon member by clicking the link in the description below.